Welcome to Dare to Be Conscious, the podcast that helps you shift, grow, and transform anything in your life with ease. I'm Ruby Pichel, your host. Here we explore conscious choices, spiritual growth, and practical tools to help you live fully awake, aligned, and empowered. Every episode, I share insights, stories, and strategies that support you in stepping into your power and living the life you truly desire. So, whether you're making big decisions, expanding your consciousness, or simply want to live more intentionally, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hi, and welcome to Dare to Be Conscious podcast. Today I'm here with Jamie Wilson, and Jamie is a new team member of the Workers of Light Academy. Jamie, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So
It's an
good to
honor and a
have you
privilege
here.
to be part of the team.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you here. So we're doing this podcast, and I'd like to not only introduce you as a member, but I have questions for you because um, we're going to talk about how we met, but I really want to talk about your gifts and your talents and the reason why you are such a huge contribution to the Workers of Light Academy. So I'm looking forward to this conversation and what it will contribute. But let's start with you. Would you share with the world who you are, where you're from?
Wow, where do I start?
I know, right?
um, it's I'm from everywhere because the universe is just a collective unit. So I feel like wherever I go, I belong, and everywhere is home. So I live in America in the state of Ohio. I was born in California. I was my parents were there for the Navy, but I came to Ohio very young. And I've been here my whole life, but I enjoy traveling. I do it as much as I can. And I'm very interested in different cultures and spiritual beliefs and everything. I'm just one of those people that really like to know everything. So I
Yeah.
study a lot of different topics: philosophy, religion, quantum physics, astrology. It's the list is never ending.
Right, right.
So
And so Jamie, what I think is very interesting when I met you and we spoke about your spiritual journey, um, what I always say to people, usually I say, especially when people are sort of new to this, a lot has happened in their life. And I always say, the bigger the capacity, the bigger the problems. Sometimes it seems like whatever we encounter in life, right, as big as it is or how challenging it represents our gifts and our talents and our power and potency and capacity. Um, and you've had some experiences in life. Would you care to share a little bit?
oh boy. Well, I'm actually writing a book right now about the experiences that have brought me to where I'm at. And just like you said, Ruby, it is the more challenges that we have in life, the greater the opportunity we have to truly step into who we were meant to be. And I think as human beings, we kind of forget that we have a soul trapped in this human body, and everyone is here on their own journey, like for their own specific thing. But we kind of get carried away into like comparing ourselves to other human beings and what they're doing in life, and we really take the focus off of what am I here to do? Like what is
Mhm.
my own individual purpose? So a lot of the things that happen in I think it's kind of like that midlife crisis point, what people refer to, but I think it's really midlife opportunity. So just looking at all the experiences that we have like in the first part of our life and really reflecting on those and using them as tools, like all of the shadow work that people are afraid to do.
Mm.
It's like, what are all of those shadows? We're afraid and we like shove them in a closet and close the door and we stay in fear. And we don't want to open that door because I lived there. I lived there in fear of opening the door because I didn't want to even look at all of the traumatic events that had occurred in my life. And, I stayed in a state of victimhood for a very long time until I finally realized, like, Spirit spoke to me and took me down this path of this hallway and started opening these doors. And as I looked inside all these different doorways, I could see all of these events that occurred in my life and exactly why they happened. And the lessons were revealed to me. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
By the time I got done touring this hallway, I was just laughing. Like, it was so right there in my face. But we don't see it at the time, of course, because we're in pain and suffering.
Right. Yeah.
So
we're usually in the judgment of what we think of the situation of the experience. Yeah.
Right.
When we're in that judgment. It's not fun, but it's also impossible to let go. And the moment, I always say that, like, the moment you zoom out and you let go of the judgment of what it is and ask the
yes,
question, like, what's right about this I'm not getting? Like, what's the gift underneath all of this? What is this showing me? Right? What is this showing me? But this is showing up. Apparently I've asked for this, like, I've asked for this. What is this? And then it will be shown, and you'll see whatever it is that it's supposed to bring you.
right.
Yeah. And so let's move to the part where you and I met. I mean, we met online through a mutual friend, and that friend connected us. And at some point, we decided to go to Florida together.
Mm-hmm.
And then
like the secret of the universe.
Yes. But I remember us telling each other, like, on the first day, it's like, okay, we know there's something here brought us together. Like, whatever it is, it will be shown, right? We'll see what happens while we're here. And boy, right, whatever happened. And I remember the two of us sitting there in that hotel lobby, and we were sitting downstairs, and we just had the most amazing conversation. And it was also that day when we saw the bird flying. There was so much that was revealed to us. And what I loved was that I was sharing you what it was that I was building, and I'm still building and creating and co-creating with the Academy. And you had that vision, like the vision that you had, it matched everything that I was sharing you, what I was working on. Would you mind sharing how that experience was for you?
Well, it was so I have the gift of seeing things in the future. And I'm always shown like a big overarching view. But I have a difficult time in like zooming in on things. But I've seen like exactly what you're doing. I saw this. And I didn't know how I was going to get to all of these things that I saw. And I sat here for years and I did my work and really focused on myself and understanding myself. Like I took years just studying myself and all the parts of me. And why am I this way? Why am I that way? What is this? What is that? What do you want me to know? What is revealed? Show me this, show me that. And all of these things started lining up. And as we sat and spoke, every single word that you said was already there. And I was like, these are the exact things that I saw. This is exactly aligning how it was supposed to align. It was like you were the outlet in the wall, and I just came and plugged right in. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, Lord.
This is it. Yeah. That's really cool. And that's what I felt too. It was like you were like this perfect piece that just fit exactly to what it is that I had been creating. Exactly what I had been asking for. Somebody who is, because I'm at this point right now, and just for people.
What a blessing.
I know, right? Just for people that don't know, when I actually started creating from the topic of conscious leadership. That was just something that I got a few years ago, and I started working on conscious leadership. And I basically just started with a Facebook group. I was like, conscious leadership, all right, here we go. And it felt like conscious leadership was the arc, the energetic arc. Like whatever is coming, like I'm not building an arc, I'm not building a physical arc with my hands, but I'm building an energetic arc, which was conscious leadership, which was created to be that safe space. And then in the whole idea of conscious
Yep.
leadership, the Workers of Light Academy was created. And the whole Workers of Light Academy was the sort of the life expression of a vision that I had coming from Corinthians. And in Corinthians, it's I also see it as a setup for whatever the new business could be. And it was the business setup of the body where Jesus also, when Jesus explains like he is the body, it's the body of Christ, and we are all part of the body. We're all different, but we all have a function. And even though we are different, that's okay, because
Right.
that's what it's supposed to be, because the hand is not the foot and the foot is not the hand, and they do different things, but one is not less than the other. And all combined, everything has a function in that body. And that's what I saw. I was like, the Workers of Light Academy is functioning as a body, and we just need the body parts. And I'm a specific body part, and I do what I do, but I cannot do what the other
Right.
body part can do. And I saw that I had to create a lot. Like I'm creating systems. Something that I'm good at is business, building systems, building platforms. And then I build them and they all come together. And I need to be at that level again of conscious leadership in keeping track of what conscious leadership is. And it started to be too much for me. Like it started to overwhelm. No, maybe not really overwhelming, but I was like, I had all these pillars, but I cannot be in all these pillars at the same time, and then also be in the details and be in like the conscious leadership overview at the same time. I was like, how am I going to do that? Like, I don't even like, and I've built all these things, and I always tell people who come on board, I'm like, just ask me what you need because I've probably already created it. Tell me what you want to do because I probably already have a system, or I have some kind of a system
Right.
or account or membership or whatever it is that we need. Just ask me. Um, all I need is like the body parts to come together. And I did have some body parts in the team.
Hmm.
But what you were bringing to the body was something completely different. And that was something that the academy really needed at that time, or now for whatever it is. So I'm excited. You were excited. I was excited. We were so excited that it just aligned and everything resonated. Um, so tell me about, because what I learned is that you know quite a bit about astrology. And astrology to me is completely, I mean, it's something that I can't, it's like it's not my part. I love it, and I can see it and I believe it, and when I hear it, it kind of clicks, but like it's not my part. I don't even know. People could ask me, I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know. So teach us, show us, tell me what you
Well,
know.
I mean, it's another language in itself, and I'm not an astrologer by any means. And I self-study everything. So, what I have learned is specific to myself, and I try to share stuff with my boyfriend, and he's like, "Well, you just learn and tell me," and I'm like, "Okay, okay." But before I go any further, you're you have been freezing, and I don't
Oh,
know if that is going to show in the video. So almost the whole time you were talking,
I was
your
frozen.
video was frozen.
Right.
So
It might not. I'm gonna have to check what it maybe if the sound is good, then it might be fine.
okay.
Yeah, if not, I hope. it's not going to be a problem.
Okay. So astrology really excites me because it's such a complex system to understand, but it's like a map of who we are. Like it's the blueprint of how we communicate, how we think, how we operate, how it aligns into where we are now and where we're going and the things that we need to work through. And like for me specifically, there's these different houses. So I just have like a little printout of my astrology chart.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So there's different houses. There's 12 houses and, 12 zodiac signs, 12 months of the year. Everything is connected. That's just how it is. But in those houses, like in the ninth house, that's where I live. That's where my south node is. That's where I'm currently living. But in that ninth house, I have my sun, my moon, my Jupiter, my Venus, my Chiron, my Lilith, and my lot of Eros. So that is a lot in one house. So all of those different planets are always like they're battling each other. I want to do this. 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 So it's like I'm constantly learning and constantly just like gathering information and want to go here and know this and know that, but I'm never satisfied with just like really basic things. I like to deep dive into everything and have a true understanding. Mm-hmm. And astrology is one of those things that was just a lot. So I kind of put that on the back burner for a while and I was like, I'll just get into some quantum physics. That's what I started with, and then went to psychology and just progressed through all different kinds of things since then. But then I came back to astrology and really spent some time in it just to get to know myself from how my blueprint is and just how it really aligns with spirituality. So in that ninth house is that represents the pursuit of wisdom, philosophy, religion, long distance travel, higher learning and education, philosophy and belief systems, travel and exploration, wisdom and spirituality. And what I said, all of those different planets and everything that I have are all in that house. So there's several different parts of me that are all seeking that same thing, but I do it in different ways. And sometimes it's hard to keep track. So I have like all these different systems. I'm like, okay, moon, you got this over there. Sun, where are you at? You got this? You got a notebook. You got this. And just trying to bring it all together is what I'm really trying to do and move now into my third house, which is my north node. And your north node is where your soul purpose lies. That is like how you're going to get to where you're supposed to be on your soul journey. So I have to take all these planets that are up here hanging out in the ninth and be like, all right, it's time to settle down. I'm going to be 50 next month. So that is like probably past midlife for what we consider age in America, but I'm going to live till 104. That's my goal number. So I'm not even halfway. We'll just say that. So coming now down to a life path just focused on still learning and communication, but doing that. And now it's time for me to share all of the things that I've been learning. Right. So, and that aligns with what my soul path is. And in studying Kabbalah, that was one of the other things that I've been studying recently, the spiritual program of Kabbalah, not program, but understanding, one of the oldest spiritual contexts. And they talk a lot about how astrology plays into that too and make a lot of reference. And it's really cool. But now just taking all of that, the jack of all trades or Jill of all trades, and just trying to narrow things down and now figuring out how to deliver that to the world, because it doesn't really make sense to just collect knowledge and keep it to myself. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where I've been.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. And what is kind of popping in my head right now is that, of course, it's interesting to see that for yourself or see how this could benefit other people in their journey. But what I also see is I always see the creation or the business or the academy or the foundation, whatever you would call it, as an entity and how all these
Mhm.
parts are working together and how it's moving forward. So I'm kind of interesting what we would find out if we take astrology and we take it into the creation, whatever it
Mhm.
needs to be, and whatever wherever it wants to take us in terms of what the conscious leadership wants to be in the whole package with the Workers of Light Academy connected to the foundation and to all the people who are in the academy.
Great.
Somehow I'm like, that would be so interesting to see what shows up and what it wants to tell us. Because I feel like it could give direction. The way that I work with energy is that I see all these creations as it's all energy, right? It's
Mhm.
also like a business is a consciousness and it's a consciousness on its own. So it knows where it needs to go. And I will let it tell me what it is that it needs from me. I will let it tell me where it needs me to go. And I will allow it to contribute to me. I will allow it to show the way. So these consciousness, like conscious leadership became its own entity, so its own consciousness. The Works of
Mhm.
Light Academy became its own consciousness. The foundation, the Alignment Humanity Foundation became its own consciousness. And then we have all the people that are working with us and connected to us, and they're all consciousnesses. So everything is so, I think it's so interesting to see what astrology could contribute and teach us in the whole,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
I love how you talked about how everything has its own consciousness, and then they come together as the collective consciousness, just like how the entire universe. So we're just like a sub part of the greater system,
Yes.
and all that is come together to work cohesively to build something greater, just
Mhm.
to share with people, um, to be the better versions of themselves. And what is it that we can do through these things that you have built, all of these systems that you have in place? What can we do to like shine that light out into the world?
Right.
And
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. Yeah. And just navigate through all of that because uh, a lot of things that I've created, it's basically nothing more than systems or things that would help us set up. I mean, yes, but there are also names and consciousnesses, and they contribute to the whole. Even though, right? If when you create, let's say, a foundation, right? You need to build it, and you get an official legal entity. You'll get a number from the Chamber of Commerce, but then it actually just becomes an entity, right? It becomes a creation, it becomes a consciousness. And then what it really wants to do, it wants to contribute because
Mhm.
we've created it, right? It's there, it's
Right.
live. And
Hmm.
we're putting energy into it, and it's willing to like bring the energy all over the world. And thinking like that and moving like that and having that mindset of how that works is fascinating to me.
It's very fascinating.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Wow.
fascinating, just the power that we have within us that people don't even realize
Mhm.
is everybody has the power to create and the power to be, you know, I mean, we are created in the likeness of God. So once you're awakened to that Christ being inside of you, is you have the power to do anything. Like we were here as magical beings and we think we're just a human. And I'm like, no, I'm just
But we're
walking
not,
around,
yeah.
I have this
Right,
meat suit on, but like, hello, I'm a child of God.
right. I remember when I started to find out that I could actually like communicate with these entities or consciousnesses. That was, I mean, it's become very normal, but when I knew it was possible, and I was able to sort of communicate with different energies, but then suddenly when it really came to the surface, I was working together with somebody who is from Canada, and she had her own business, and I was working in her creative business. So we were building website, making graphics for people that had their own classes. And I was in that part of the business as a basically as a trainee and then see what it could grow into. And then she also had other parts of the business that I wasn't even involved in. But then suddenly it felt like I suddenly was, it felt like I was having an opinion about another part of her business. Like, this is not going well. Like, like it's messy. And I was like, why why would I have an opinion about another part of her business that I'm not even in? And she was in Canada, and then this part of the business is actually also the bigger part was in the United States, and I was not even involved, and I didn't even know what they were doing in that part of the business. I mean, just generally, but basically I had no idea. And I was like, why do I have an opinion about it? It just doesn't make sense. And then suddenly it sort of clicked to me, and it was like, oh, oh, the business is talking to me. That business entity, that part of consciousness of her business was actually communicating with me. And it was letting me know that it was suffocating. And so I reached out to her. I said, I was like, Chelsea, your business is talking to me. And she was like,
Love
"Oh,
it.
cool, cool." She's like, "Well, I want to know. Let's connect, right? We have like
Yeah.
8 hour time difference." She's like, "Let's connect." Um, so we got together. She's like, "What's the business saying?" And so I just told her. I told her like whatever is happening, and it's suffocating. There is a lot of pressure on it, like, and because that part of the business was suffocating and it wasn't able to breathe, there was a lot of energy going into that part of the business, but there was no room anymore for any energy in the other part of the business.
Hmm.
So we focused on that part of the business. We looked at what needed to be changed and what it really wanted, and we started to move things around. And basically, um, well, technically, what you do business wise, we had like 4 people working on that part of the business, maybe like 1 full time, 3 part time. And we could bring that back to 1 person working part time on it. So practically business wise, that makes a lot of sense. And energetically, what happened is that it just opened up and it got space, and there was room for other parts of the business to grow.
Yep.
That was really amazing. And when that happened, and when I got the awareness of what really happened or what it required of us, it gave me such an energy. It gave me an energy of gratitude. The business entity was like, my God, thank you. And there was so much gratitude that I actually started crying because it was so happy that we were helping that part of the business. So that was that, and that was my first experience in actually communicating with business entities. And that was really cool. And it was
That's
another part of the world, so that was amazing.
yeah.
Sitting here in my living room in the Netherlands, communicating with a part of her business in the United States and Canada. It was crazy,
Well, I mean, it just goes to show how everything is energetically connected.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I've never had a business consciousness speak to me, but as you were telling that story, I was thinking, I relate a lot of things to nature. So
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, that's like you're watering your plant too much. Maybe somebody left the hose on and it's just like overflowing one of the plants. And the plant's like, I can't even hold anymore. And all the other plants, I'm like, I'm thirsty. Like somebody go turn the hose off.
Exactly. It's exactly
Yeah.
that. Yeah. It's exactly the same thing. And it doesn't matter whether you're talking to a plant or you're talking to a
Yeah.
business entity. It's like it's energy that just communicates, and just a fun anecdote, and then we're gonna move to the next section. But I was driving past a beautiful car. It was just parked on the side of the road, and I just drove past, and I looked at it and I was like, ooh, that's a beautiful car. And then I got this sense of I like you too. But it was like huge, it was loud, it was like, I like you too. And I was like, oh, that was so funny. Yeah, hi. I just floated with a car. That was so funny. I was like, And I've had more experience of communicating with, right, things, consciousnesses, but this car was so loud that I was like, oh my God, it's so, you're so loud. But it was really, it was so friendly and so loving. So,
Mhm.
and I know people think that I'm crazy, and I am, and I don't care, because this is what.
That's why we get along so well.
Exactly. I'm like, this is what life is. I mean, I cannot understand that other people would not want to do this because it's so much fun,
Yep.
right? Why wouldn't you? Um, so what I also wanted to know is, and what I've seen as we were together in Florida, that you journal a lot. There's a lot of information that comes through you. You're like this channel, this vessel, and you'll just get up in the middle of the night and you'll start writing. Would you mind sharing something about that
Do.
process?
So I have many journals, stacks and stacks of journals. I started doing some voice memos on my phone because I'm like, I have to get all this information into like type format somehow. And um, but I do receive a lot of messages, and most of the time I don't share them unless it comes up as like really, really important, like you need to tell so and so or this and that.
Mm.
Um, so I'm starting to come out into sharing a little bit more of what I receive. And on a couple of times, which will be in my book, but I will share, I've had two encounters and probably more if I would have been tuned in more, but two encounters of communicating with the dead. Um, and
We should do a
and
separate episode of that, of communicating with the dead. We'll do that, but continue.
yeah, that was it, a different experience, a very different experience.
Was it somebody you knew or was it somebody you didn't know?
So actually, when I was in Bali, the girl Shanna that I met, we spent some time together, and I was doing a Reiki session with her out on the beach. And so we're laying there on the beach. The tide was not anywhere near the beach. Everybody's laid up. We're all the way in the back part of the beach area out on Mushroom Bay. And so I sat upon and I was calling upon the energies of the water, and the water crashed all the way across the beach, all the way to where all the people were, soaked everybody, everybody's towels, everything like that. And I was like, okay, well, thank you for your energy. Thank you for coming to me. And we just like put our stuff aside and went back into the Reiki session. And while I was there, I had channeled her grandmother. So I was telling her about it after the session, and she's like, oh my God, you described her perfectly. And I was like, wow, this is really weird. This old German woman, and she had never mentioned anything about her grandma. I just met this girl 2 days ago. And so it was a very fascinating experience. And the other one was my ex mother in law. And my ex husband and I were actually working together at the time. He was working with me in my painting business. And I had like this 2 hour episode of, I was like, empathically, I was picking up everybody's emotions for like a year straight. I was solid. I couldn't even drive down the street without crying. Like, I would just look at somebody driving down the street and I could just see the pain in their eyes and like see through their soul. And I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
and it
Yeah.
was just terrifying. But she had come and spoke to me, and I didn't want to relay the message to him. I'm like, he's gonna think I'm a freaking nut job. Like, I can't just tell him, oh, your mom just came and talked to
Yeah.
me. But he happened to like walk down the hallway of the room that I was in while I was painting. And he saw me there, like basically lifeless, like hanging between two realms. And like when I finally like came to, I literally collapsed to the ground. And he's like, Jamie, what just happened? And I started speaking to him, and he said, you sound just like my mother. Like even my voice sounded like her.
Mm.
That was something else, let me tell you. I was like, oh my God. Like, she was a lovely woman. And you know what? She was deep, deep, deep into astrology. And
Oh.
I never even thought about doing astrology until I had that encounter with her. And I just thought about that like 2 years ago. I was like, that's really weird. Like maybe she was at that time, she was like, hey, Jamie, you need to go look into doing pick up where I left off. But this was
Mm.
like before computers were around. She did charts by hand, like to the
Wow.
degrees of everything. It would take her like a month to do a chart. It
Whoa.
was insane. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing.
I don't even remember what the original question was. I just
No, I
started.
mean, that's perfectly fine. We were talking about you journaling and whatever it is
Oh,
that you write or whatever it is that you
dear.
channel. But this is the same. I mean, that is channeling as well. And
Yeah.
that's so funny because we were also talking about when just before we started, you said, I'm always off topic. You said, right, just leave me talking and I'll be rambling about whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I'm the same. Like I sometimes lose track and I'm like, why we were talking about this? Like, what's going on? So, but that's okay. I think we're all like that. Um, but tell me about your book, because you said you're writing a book. What's the title of your book? Do you already have a title?
I have 8 topics
Mm-hmm.
because I was given 8 topics at one time when I was in communication with spirit. And I was like, oh, are these names of books? And I came and wrote them down. And I actually came up with another one today. It's in my notes. I don't have it and I don't remember because so many things come to me at one time.
Yeah.
So I have to write everything down. Uh, there's too much in my head. Too much in my head.
Yeah. Well, and this is what I always say to people, because many times when we are not aware of our capacity, um, it feels like it's overwhelmed, right? Or it feels like we have so much going on. But this is just what you're good at. I mean, you are a channel. There is so much information that you get to process, but just make sure that we create enough space. We just create enough space so your capacity can just come out and be the way that it's designed, because it's designed to be what it is that you do. And the
Mhm.
downside is that in this world, in this society, when we send kids off to school, we teach them to sort of shrink everything, right? And focus and just do this.
Yes.
We function in a different way. So,
I was actually writing about that today.
mm,
I was trying to focus and I'm like, I need to take my journals and just start typing them out so I can see where I'm at and so I can put all this together.
yeah,
I
yeah.
literally took one sentence from my journal. I typed the first sentence that I came across. I was like, oh, yeah, I want to put that in there. And then 3 pages later, that was not already written. I was just like, oh, okay.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
But it goes back to people think that they're so limited and we try to control people and keep them small.
Right.
And that's the scary part. Like,
That is the scary part. But again, that's also what they teach our children. It's like, well,
oh,
finish one thing before you do the other, right? Or make sure that you focus, or right, when you're good at this, you cannot be good at that. Like, why? Why can I not be good at everything? Why can my child not be good at everything? I mean, not that they have to, but many
yeah.
times there are a lot of things that we can do, but we don't even give ourselves the um we don't even give ourselves the space or even the idea that we could do that. There's are all these limitations, and that is one thing that I would love to break free from, and that would be a part of the academy as well, to just let everybody know, like, hey, this is your talent, this is your capacity, and it's not here to be buried in the dirt, right? It's here to shine, to come to the surface, to grow, to be whatever it can become.
There's so much pressure on kids. So I was a teacher. I
Hmm.
was a teacher and a dean in a school. And when I was in school, I was not a good student at all. I had no interest in the things that they were teaching me. I was like, literally don't care. Don't care about any of this stuff. And like my parents had a hard time I don't know, keeping me reeled in, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was a quiet kid. I just tried to do my best, but I just wasn't interested at all. I
Mm.
remember I got my first F in science class in sixth grade and I cried. I cried because I got that F. And then years and years later, I ended up teaching a science class, sixth and seventh grade. I taught earth
Oh.
science. So it's just like maybe I wasn't ready to receive that information then, but later on in life, I loved it so much that I taught it.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Yeah, that's
And
yeah.
there's
It's
too
not
many
like you
things that,
couldn't, but it's like, well, that's what I see what's happening a lot. And even when I have even adults that come as a client, I can see their awareness. But because what they teach us in school, we kind of block everything. And sometimes it's also because you get so much information,
Mhm.
they don't teach you how to navigate it. And then it's overwhelming and we start
Right.
blocking things. And that is
Mhm.
not helping. And that's not helping a child. And I sometimes explain it as like it's a major highway, right? Things are coming from all directions and you're closing off roads. Like that doesn't make sense. You don't do that. Like when it's busy and when there's a lot of traffic, right? It's better to like open roads, make sure that everything flows. And what do we do with the way that we gather information? First of all, it's not the brain, like it's outside of that, right? We tap into the
Mhm.
universe, but we teach children to sort of focus, we make it small instead of, I always like to talk about awareness versus consciousness. The awareness, we just simply have it. Like we are aware, the body is aware. But when we're not consciously aware, we kind of do pick it up, but we don't know what to do with it because we're not conscious of it. And
Mhm.
so a lot of people are like, or I don't know what to do with that, or I don't feel that, or I don't hear that. I'm like, yes, you do. You're just limiting yourself. You're making yourself small, or you are not consciously aware of the fact that you're picking it up. Just like you were saying that you kind of like when you pass by, you pick up their emotions or you pick up whatever entity is around. That is your zone of awareness. It's just there. The thing is, are we consciously aware of it? And do we have the tools to navigate through that? Like,
Yep.
and that's what I love, and that's what I would love to do with the Workers of Light Academy, to really get to that part where I know that everybody has their specific talent, um, but maybe they're not consciously aware of it, and they probably don't have the tools. So it's like making sure, because the awareness is a given, we're aware, the body is aware. It's just that, are we consciously aware and do we have the tools to navigate? And when we get to that part and contribute to each other, it's going to be amazing.
Yes.
Just
And I'm so
imagine.
glad that you are one of those people that can really like fine tune people into their thing. Like just so many times in Florida, I'm like this ramble, ramble, ramble. And you just bring things back and like make people really stop and think and focus on being consciously aware of what's going on right in front of them and around them. And that's something I really appreciate about you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, it's something that I love to be able to contribute, and it's really something that now that I'm consciously aware of the fact that I can do that, it's something fun to do because
Mm-hmm.
I could never see that as a capacity. And now I do know that, and I also know that it can be a contribution. Because in the past, I would not talk about things, right? I would not share the information because I thought, well, who wants to know? Like, who wants to listen to me? And then, but
Exactly.
now I know that it was actually also a friend of mine who said, uh, it was a few years ago and we were in Spain together. We were there for the weekend, and she said, you have to like at some point do master classes or write a book or whatever it is. And I'm like, I don't know, really? Do you think so? And she's like, every time I'm with you, you give me something valuable. Like every time I'm with you, there's this diamond that you bring out, and it's like, I don't know, I didn't know. And then and you just like, there it is. So she's like, somehow you gotta like put it all together because this is valuable for people. And
Mhm.
that's how it kind of started. She was like, don't worry about it. I'll organize an event. You just show up. And I mean, now we're here, right? We're organizing events. We have master classes, we have international master classes, organizing retreats and classes, and all because she kind of woke me up and pushed me into it. I don't think I would have started if she didn't push me into it.
So she was brought along on your path as your guide to push you to where you needed to be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And now she's still part of the team, um, organizing a lot, right? Making sure that the events take place or finding lovely venues and stuff like that. I mean, we all have our piece to bring to the body.
Yep.
So that's really amazing.
As long as
Um,
we don't end up with like a three-headed monster.
I can't promise you that, but we'll give it a try.
But I
Um,
mean, you know.
yeah. Well, Jamie, I want to thank you so much for this conversation and sharing with the world who you are and the whole contribution that you be in the academy and the foundation. So I'm really looking forward to co-create with you and whatever it is that we are going to offer to the world. And I definitely want to bring up a next session where we'll take the topic of communicating with entities, because
Yeah.
I'd like to know more about what you spoke about, and I'd like to talk about it more and share a little bit about it from my point of view.
Mhm.
So I guess this is it for today, and I want to thank you for joining me. I want to thank everybody for listening to our podcast. It's been a while since I made a podcast, so let's keep going and see you next time, or you'll hear us next time.
And hopefully I'll have some of my own master classes up on the Workers of Light Academy talking
Oh,
about
perfect.
self-awareness
Yes,
and
yes,
the
yes.
show.
So good that you mentioned that. Yeah, because that's the thing, Jamie, in the Workers of Light Academy and everything that we're doing and setting up classes, yeah, I would love for you to have your own session, masterclass, broadcast, whatever it is that we're creating.
Mhm.
Didn't you say that you already had a name? What you want
I
to
have all kinds of names, Ruby,
written
you know.
down? You've written down. No, that's fine.
I get out with my notebooks.
Like I said, I'm so very excited for you to join the team and to deliver your gift to the
Oh,
world.
we did
And
talk about the messenger. I think
yes,
the messenger that came up in Florida.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
We're
want
trying
to?
to end the session. Let me
We're trying
stop
to
talking.
end the session. Give me the messenger thing. Just give us the short version.
We'll talk
It's
about,
gonna be hard to do a short podcast, but that's fine.
I know. We'll talk about that next time. And it was wonderful. It was very wonderful getting the opportunity to sit and talk with you again. And I look forward to whatever spirit brings to us and how I contribute into what you're doing and how you contribute into what spirit has for me and how it works all together for the collective consciousness. And it's a wild ride being down here in this human body, and it's a lot of fun.
It is.
A
It
lot of
is a
fun.
lot of fun. Absolutely. All right. So we'll pick this up another time. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to Dare to Be Conscious. Remember, the life and energy you want start with the choices you make every day. The more you choose consciously, the more that energy shows up for you. You attract what you choose to be, so choose wisely. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd be so grateful if you left a 5-star review or shared it with someone who could benefit. Subscribe to stay updated on new episodes and connect with me on social media. The links are in the show notes. Thank you for showing up, for stepping into your power, and for being willing to live consciously. You matter, and I love you.